Israel's renewed airstrikes on Gaza have killed over 300 people, ending a fragile ceasefire and sparking global concern. Jailed Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan has sent a rare message to the Yazidis, calling their struggle for self-determination a renaissance. A political shift in Turkey unfolds as key parties discuss peace, disarmament, and national unity amid tensions. A humanitarian aid convoy has departed from North and East Syria, or Rojava, for Syria's coastal regions to assist communities affected by the recent sectarian massacres. Learn more with Medya News. Israel has launched devastating airstrikes across Gaza, killing at least 326 people, including many women and children. The bombings shattered a 2-month ceasefire with Hamas, raising fears of further escalation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the strikes, citing Hamas's refusal to release Israeli hostages. Defense Minister Israel Katz warned of unprecedented force, as the Israeli military signaled that the assault may expand beyond airstrikes. Gaza's remaining hospitals, already overwhelmed, are struggling to treat the influx of casualties. The Palestinian Red Crescent reported that dozens were killed and injured, with harrowing scenes of bodies filling hospital floors. The ceasefire had initially secured hostage exchanges and prisoner releases, but talks collapsed over Israel's refusal to fully withdraw from Gaza. Hamas has accused Israel of violating the truce and escalating the war. The renewed violence has drawn global condemnation, with Russia and the UN calling for an immediate ceasefire. As tensions spread across the region, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza deepens, with no sign of de-escalation. Jailed Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan has sent a rare message to the Yazidis, calling their fight for self-determination a renaissance and urging them to build a democratic society. In his letter, delivered from Turkey's Imrahlu prison, Öcalan condemned the historical oppression of Yazidis, particularly the 2014 ISIS genocide in Sinjar, or known also as Shengal. Öcalan stated that Yazidis had long endured massacres and exile, but had resisted and organized in response. He called for their active participation in shaping a democratic society, warning against forces seeking to erase them. He also emphasized the role of women in Yazidis' self-governance. His message framed the Yazidis' struggle within a broader regional context, asserting that their freedom was linked to the liberation of all Middle Eastern peoples. He described the process as a renaissance for Yazidis, ensuring their survival and autonomy. Öcalan's statement came alongside his call for peace and democratic society, addressing the wider political future of the region. He reaffirmed his solidarity with the Yazidis and their demands for freedom.
The history of our Yazidi people is one marked by massacres, exiles, great suffering, and oppression. The Yazidis are among the oldest religious communities and most ancient societies of Mesopotamia. They have paid a heavy price to preserve their culture, identity, and existence. The tragedies they have endured are etched not only into the collective memory of the Yazidi people, but also into the conscience of humanity. Throughout history, they have been subjected to attacks, yet they have managed to survive by resisting against all odds. In the last century, the attacks driven by nation-state mentalities have resulted in massacres amounting to genocide. The massacre in Shengal in 2014 was a continuation of this mentality aimed at erasing the Yazidis' existence. However, this time, our Yazidi people quickly embraced the struggle for freedom, organized themselves, and resisted. This is how they developed their historical resistance against the massacre. The participation of women in this resistance is particularly meaningful. A new phase has begun in which the Yazidis are taking control of their own future. The future of our Yazidi people will be shaped based on a democratic society built upon their own strength and democratic will. A social organization must be developed in which they can freely practice their faith. At the stage we have reached, building a democratic system is of vital importance for the preservation and continuation of their historical existence. On the basis of the democratic society perspective, a future can be built in which all peoples live equally and freely. The Yazidis must be an active force in the struggle for democratization and in the construction of a democratic society based on a free and communal life. Any approach that does not recognize or disregards the freedom of our Yazidi people is illegitimate. The Yazidi people must organize themselves in every sphere they exist in to secure their future. The struggle for a democratic, free, and equal life is a shared responsibility of all our peoples. On this occasion, I salute the struggle of our Yazidi people. I want to express my unwavering support for their demands for freedom under all circumstances. The freedom of the Yazidis is intertwined with the freedom of the peoples of the Middle East. In this sense, the call for peace and democratic society is also a response to the 73rd Yazidi Firman, Yazidi massacre. The process we have initiated will, above all, ensure the existence and freedom of the Yazidi people. This call is a renaissance, and it will be, above all, the renaissance of the Yazidi people. This process will succeed through shared emotions and struggle. Once again, I extend my deepest greetings. Abdullah Öcalan.
Turkey's political landscape saw a rare moment of dialogue as the pro-Kurdish People's Equality and Democracy, or DEM party, met with the far-right Nationalist Movement Party, or MHP, and ruling Justice and Development Party, or AKP. The meetings come amid renewed discussions on peace, following Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan's call for dialogue and disarmament. DEM party leaders, including Tuli Hatimulari and Tunca Bakarhan, stressed the need for direct communication with Öcalan, viewing it as crucial for peace efforts. They also condemned a Turkish airstrike in Kobani that killed 9 civilians, warning it threatens ongoing negotiations. MHP leader Devlet Bahçeli, recovering from heart surgery, called for national unity, but maintained his stance against the PKK, insisting on full disarmament. Despite past tensions, MHP and DEM party described their meeting as productive. Meanwhile, DEM party's meeting with the AKP, led by Efkan Ala, focused on peace prospects. The AKP described the talks as sincere, while DEM party emphasized Öcalan's role in the process. As Turkey approaches Newroz, these discussions could shape future political dynamics and peace efforts. The Kurdistan Red Crescent has sent a humanitarian aid convoy from North and East Syria, also known as Rojava, to Syria's coastal regions for survivors of recent sectarian massacres, which killed over 1,000 civilians, mostly from the Alawite minority. The aid convoy is carrying 10,000 staple food baskets prepared by civil society organizations in North and East Syria.